Hi guys, welcome to Pivot and Profit with Priscilla. Today I want to talk to you about why home health care is an untapped gold mine. I have been in home health care in pediatric home health care for 5 years. Prior to that, I was in senior home health care. My pediatric home health care business grossed over $1 million last year, and we are pushing to be a multi-million-dollar business in the near future. So today, I just want to explain to you guys why this is such a lucrative and satisfying business. One thing that people don't understand is that billions of dollars are set aside every year for community-based services. Community-based services are programs that are to help the population in-home and provide services for them that they sometimes can't afford or don't have access to. One of those programs that I am under is through Medicaid, and it's called the GAPP program, Georgia Pediatric Program. There are other programs for seniors called SOURCE, CCSP, ICWP. Please do the Googles on the acronyms yourself. But these are programs that Medicaid pays for seniors and for children to have services, specifically in their home sometimes. There are also veteran services programs that the VA will pay for on the federal side for veterans to have services in their homes as well. So there are state and federal government dollars earmarked every year for these services. They're already set aside. They're just waiting on the community and the people in the community to apply for them and entrepreneurs to sign up as service providers. I've already done a video on how you can sign up to become a home health care service provider and get registered with Medicaid. When you become a provider, you don't just have to be registered with Medicaid. You can also be registered with private companies, United Healthcare, Aetna, companies that provide healthcare as well. You can bill both Medicaid and healthcare companies as well. The healthcare companies actually usually pay more than Medicaid, sometimes double the rate. I'm now just a Medicaid service provider, but in the future, I will be getting registered with those health companies. States are currently struggling to fulfill the care needs that are in the community. We have an aging population. The population of seniors that need home health services is growing drastically. Recently, there's been a shortage of nurses in the country, so that's putting a strain on being able to provide those services. And the fact that those nurses don't just have to work in healthcare. They can work in the hospitals. They can work in the jail system. They can work in schools. So home health care is sometimes not where nurses always go for employment. So there's a shortage of nurses as a country, and then those nurses are being used in plenty other facilities and to do plenty other services. Aside from the aging population, there's a high need and a low supply of pediatric and vet care service providers. Again, I'm a pediatric home health care service provider, but you could also become a veteran home health care service provider. Finally, one of the things that I've noticed is that there's a lot of private equity companies moving into the home health care space. I have received calls from multiple companies to purchase my business. Some of those calls I've entertained, and what I realized is they're buying up smaller businesses. So if you're in the business, if you're in the space to want to build a business and sell it, home health care is a very good industry to look into. I don't know how they're finding my number, how they're finding me, but they're calling me from all over the country. They are private equity companies. They're moving into this space and they're buying up smaller companies. The reason I haven't sold my company is because the offers that I'm getting aren't where I want to be. And also I'm looking to grow the company a lot more than where I am right now before I even consider selling it. Private equity sounds good for the business side and the entrepreneur. However, for the client, it's not the best thing. I have had a lot of clients that have left their current company and come to my company because they become just a number in the private equity space. The care is not as good. The treatment is not as good. Instead of having one nurse that takes care of their child that the family gets to know and the family can depend on, some agencies are sending in multiple nurses at a time. Families don't like that, especially when you're dealing with children. Nurses are calling out. The company doesn't have any one contact that they can reach out to when they're having issues or they're having concerns. Families don't like to be passed around, and they don't like being treated like a number. So when you're a small business and you can provide a service that is consistent, that is personable, that is reliable, you can stand out in this space amongst the larger companies that just don't seem to have time for that because they have so many clients. This is one of the reasons I hadn't expanded my company too far, because it's a lot to manage, and I don't want to treat my clients like they're just a number. Home health care also has a low barrier to entry. A lot of people want to get into business and they want to do a number of things that may require them to have a warehouse. They may need a fleet of cars or large equipment. They may need highly skilled workers, things like that. All that stuff costs money. And it costs money to get just before you can even open the doors of your business. Home health care is not like that. I had an office space when I first opened my business, but it was expensive. So I went to Regis, who offers office suites, and I purchased an office suite. My first office suite was about $600 a month. I thought even that was expensive. So I closed my office suite, and now I just have a mailbox. So I have a mailbox address where my mail goes, but I can go to Regis and have conferences. I can have meetings. I can have trainings at any Regis location in the state of Georgia or in other state. I can go to another country and get a Regis office and reservist and have a meeting if I want to. So my business is primarily operated out of my home. All my files are on my computer. The state requires 2 locks for your files. I don't have printed files because that's expensive and it's costly to be printing out all this paper and saving it for clients. And I don't believe it's safe. So 2 locks mean my computer itself is locked in my home. My computer itself is locked behind my room door or locked in a drawer. And I have 3 locks actually, because my computer itself has a password lock on it. That is what the state requires for information. And also, if you want to go even further, the software where my client's information is held also is password locked and safe. So the state doesn't require that you have an office, actually. However, you may need to host interviews. You may want to host a conference with your employees. You may want to host a meeting with your clients. That can be done at an office suite. So you can get a membership at an office suite company, and you can reserve conference rooms or offices with them. Most of the work is done in the client's home. Okay? So this is very much a home-based type of business that doesn't cost you a lot to start up. The startup cost is minimal. You have to pay the cost for your license, which is $750. However, you're paid weekly. In the state of Georgia and through Medicaid, we're paid weekly. Our hours have to be in and billed by Thursday or early Friday morning, because we bill in 2 systems. The unskilled has to be in by Thursday night. The skilled billing has to be in by Friday morning. We're paid that very next Thursday. This is hugely beneficial for companies. I've had contracts that were paid monthly. Sometimes contracts are paid quarterly. So when you can get a paycheck every week, I pay my employees, my nurses, weekly as well. It's a low-cost business, and you can earn money fairly quickly when you get a client. Recurring revenue is another great benefit of this business. Having consistent pay, consistent hours, and consistent clientele. Let me explain what that means. When you get a client, a child that is just born and is coming out of the hospital, once you put in that packet, it's going to take 30 days for an approval. If the government says because of this client's needs, this client is going to get 84 hours a week of skilled nursing services. That's 12 hours a day, 7 days a week that you can find a nurse to cover those hours. So again, that's consistent. That's for the life of this condition. And many conditions that are being diagnosed in these children are lifelong conditions. The state of Georgia allows clients to be on this program from birth to the age of 21. As long as you have the ability to keep that client healthy, well taken care of, and keep that family satisfied, you can have a 21-year client. The hours don't change very much as long as the condition stays the same. The government doesn't necessarily go back and fluctuate hours. If the health of the client improves and the client doesn't need that many hours, yes, the hours can be reduced. But depending on the condition of the client, a lot of the skilled nursing and the skilled services that are provided are lifelong care services that aren't going to fluctuate much. So for a business owner, that is a long-term financial status. It really is. You just have to maintain your business. You have to put in good nurses, and you have to satisfy the client and the family. Hopefully you guys understand how not just lucrative, but satisfying the home health care business can be. I feel like it's often overlooked and underestimated. But for me, it's been a beneficial way to step into entrepreneurship. And I'm glad I started there. I hope you guys got some information from this. I hope it sparks your new startup in home health care. You can go to my YouTube and look at other videos that I've talked about on how to get started and how to get your licensing in Medicaid through the state of Georgia. Thank you for watching. Have a good day.